Berean 2025, Study 1.5, Our Creator's Name in the Brit Chadashah, George Howard's Thesis, and the Hebrew Revelation, James and Jude. Shalom. This is the fifth in a series of studies on the subject of our Creator's name. 1. Our Creator's Name in the Brit Chadashah. Professor George Howard was an American Hebraist, a full professor emeritus and head of Department of Religion and Hebrew at the University of Georgia, Athens, GA. He was born 3rd of June 1935 at Holdenville, Oklahoma, United States, and educated at Hebrew Union College, Harding School of Theology, and Lipscomb University. George Howard is known for his book, The Hebrew Gospel of Matthew. George Howard is also known for his thesis, The Tetragram and the New Testament. The name of our Creator is Yahuwah. The Tanakh places heavy emphasis on both the knowledge of and the use of our Creator's name. Yahuwah appears 6,823 times in the Tanakh. I am Yahuwah appears 163 times in the Tanakh. I am Yahuwah your Elohim appears 27 times in the Tanakh. The name Yahuwah is the key to understanding the scriptures as referred to in Luke 11:52. Problem 1. In the Brit Chadashah, as we have received it through the Greek New Testament, the name of our Creator does not occur at all. This is a problem because our Messiah states he did declare his Father's name. I have revealed your name to the men whom you gave me out of the world. They were yours, and you gave them to me, and they have guarded your word. And I have made your name known to them, and shall make it known, so that the love with which you loved me might be in them, and I in them. Another reason this is a problem. The name Yahuwah is the name we must call on to be saved, according to the prophet Yoel. And it is the name we must call on to be saved, according to the apostle Shaul and the apostle Kepha, who both quoted the prophet Yoel. Yet the name Yahuwah is not seen in our Bibles. Let me say this again for emphasis. In the Brit Chadashah, as we have received it through the Greek New Testament, the name of our Creator does not occur at all. This is a problem because our Messiah states he did declare his Father's name. I have revealed your name to the men whom you gave me, and I have made your name known to them. When did our Messiah reveal and make known his Father's name to the men his Father gave him? He did this every time he quoted from the Tanakh, and the quote included his Father's name. According to George Howard, in the Brit Chadashah, there are 112 direct and indirect Tanakh quotations, which include the Father's name. George Howard also suggests he spoke his Father's name in the phrases Word of Yahuwah and Kingdom of Yahuwah. Problem 2. The Greek word G2962 is translated into English as Lord uppercase or Lord lowercase. This term is used in the Greek New Testament in 3 different ways. First, it reflects the secular usages as the owner of a vineyard or a political leader. Second, it is used of our Creator, the Father. And third, it is used of our Creator's Son, our Messiah. However, there are many occasions when it is unclear from the context whether it is the Father or the Son who is being referred to. In his thesis, The Tetragram and the New Testament, George Howard surveyed all the ancient manuscripts, including the Dead Sea Scrolls. Howard concludes, before the 2nd century CE, the name of our Creator, as given to Moshe in Shemot 3:15, was rendered in the Greek Septuagint as Paleo-Hebrew letters, or Aramaic letters, or transliterated into Greek as Iota, Alpha, Omega. Note this is a legitimate transliteration from the Hebrew into the Greek, maintaining as far as possible the phonetic sound of the Hebrew proper noun, or represented by 4 or 5 dots, or represented by the Hebrew third-person personal pronoun who. And this stands out among the rest of the Greek text. After the 2nd century CE, the name of our Creator as given to Moshe in Shemot 3:15 was rendered in the Greek Septuagint as G2962, Kurios, aka Lord. The Greek Septuagint, or LXX. In the 2nd century CE, our religious leaders removed our Creator's name, Yahuwah, a proper noun, from the Greek Septuagint by substituting his name with the Greek G2962. The Greek New Testament. In the 2nd century CE, our religious leaders destroyed the autographs, original copies, of the Brit Chadashah, which were written in Hebrew. That is why there is a 100-year gap between the autographs and the oldest extant copies of the New Testament books. Our religious leaders destroyed them because they contained the name of our Creator, who they hate. Our religious leaders rewrote the Brit Chadashah in Greek, removing our Creator's name, Yahuwah, a proper noun, and substituting the Greek G2962. That is why when we read the word Lord in the English New Testament, it is sometimes ambiguous as to whether the Father or the Son is being referred to. 2. The Hebrew Book of Matityahu. Shem Tob ben Isaac was the author of a religious treatise, The Touchstone, completed in 1380 and revised in 1385 and 1400. Often referred to as the Logic of Shem Tob, it argues against the belief that Yahushua is the Messiah. However, Shem Tob unwittingly has made a huge contribution to Messianic belief, because he amended to his treatise a copy of the Book of Matityahu, written in Hebrew. Today, 28 manuscripts of Shem Tov have survived. In 1987, George Howard said that the translation of the Book of Matityahu in Shem Tov's work long predates the 14th century and may better represent the original text. George Howard does not state the Shem Tov is a copy of the original autograph of the Book of Matityahu. Howard only points out Hey Yod Yod occurs on 20 occasions in the book, and Hey Yod Yod is the abbreviated form of the name, indicating the book presented our Creator's name as Yahuwah on at least 20 occasions, and not as the Greek G2962 Kurios. The Greek Septuagint is not the inspired word of our Creator, and neither is its progeny, the Greek New Testament or the King James English. 3. The Hebrew Revelation, James and Jude. The Hebrew Revelation, James and Jude by Justin J. Van Rensburg. The Van Rensburg family have translated and evaluated the Hebrew Gospels from Shepherd, now located in the Vatican Library. The Hebrew Gospels found by Buchanan in 1806 in a synagogue in Cochin, India, now located in the Cambridge University Library. These include Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Revelation, James, and Jude. The Van Rensburg family explain their tests for an authentic Hebrew manuscript are: 1. Linguistically, it cannot derive from the Greek, Latin, or Aramaic versions. That is, an authentic Hebrew version will be unique in some respect. 2. It contains characteristics of documents originally written in Hebrew, that is, Hebrew wordplay, Hebrew keyword repetition, gapping of explicit objects and subjects. 3. The text does not contradict the Tanakh. 4. The text does not deny Yahushua as the Messiah. The Shem Tov. The Van Rensburg family explain the Shem Tov manuscript is not an authentic Hebrew manuscript, as it fails test 4 above. There are 4 places in the Greek Matthew where the author states Yahushua is the Messiah. However, in the Shem Tov Matthew, the author never once identifies Yahushua as the Messiah. The Shepherd and Cochin manuscripts. The Van Rensburg family explain most of the books in the Shepherd and Cochin manuscripts do not contain the indications of authenticity expected in a faithful copy of an original Hebrew document. Rather, they are quite similar to the Aramaic Syriac Peshitta and also contain Aramaic and Aramaic-like words, which were not properly translated into Hebrew. While the Cochin manuscripts may not be authentic copies of the original autographs, they are nevertheless of interest for many reasons, not the least of which the manuscripts use the term "the name" as a substitute for our Creator's name, where the Greek New Testament has either G2962 Kurios or G2316 Theos. However, the Hebrew Revelation, James and Jude. This is where things get exciting. The Van Rensburg family explain these manuscripts from Cochin do show many differences when compared to the Greek, Latin, and Aramaic versions. They also contain many linguistic evidences of authenticity expected in genuine copies of an original Hebrew document. Gapping of explicit subjects and objects, Hebrew wordplay, inversed word order, Hebrew keywords linking sections together, and other differences which indicate mistranslations in the Greek version. In the Hebrew Revelation, transcribed from the Cochin India manuscript, the name of our Creator is presented as the letter He with 2 dots above it. This is an abbreviation for the name. This is evidenced where the Hebrew Revelation quotes from the Tanakh. In the Hebrew Revelation, our Creator's name occurs 69 times, and as the name occurs in places where the Greek New Testament has both G2962 and G2316. 4. Conclusion. Before the 2nd century CE, the name of our Creator was highly respected and presented in the scriptural texts as Paleo-Hebrew letters, or Aramaic letters, or transliterated into Greek as iota, alpha, omega, or represented by 4 or 5 dots, or represented by the Hebrew third-person personal pronoun who. After the 2nd century CE. The name of our Creator was substituted with the terms G2962 KURIOS or G2316 Theos, or the letter He with 2 dots above it, or the letters He Yod Yod. Our Messiah states he declared his Father's name. He did this every time he quoted from the Tanakh, and the quote contained the Father's name. Therefore, in the autographs of the Brit Chadashah, our Creator's name appeared a minimum of 112 times, and our Creator's name appears in places where the Greek New Testament has both G2962 KURIOS or G2316 Theos. Finally, there is one aspect I have not yet touched on. When did our Messiah and shall make it known? I suggest there are 3 occasions when he revealed his Father's name to men after the Garden of Gethsemane. 1 at his trial before the high priest. 2 during the 40 days between his resurrection and ascension. 3 between 1948 and the present time, through the work of scholars such as George Howard, Justin van Rensburg, and others. Question: are you part of what our Creator is doing in the 21st century? List of references used.